In January of 2017, when I was little and young and foolish, I wrote a reverse false fanfiction that I later finished in October of 2018. It was 34 parts in total and posted on my old Amino account. It had swearing, stabbings, multiple kidnappings, and a lack of spell check. And let's not forget me calling the main villain a psychopath, because that's totally an accurate representation of mental health disorders and conditions. Bad younger me, stop it with the ableism. Anyway, in this series, I will be reading and illustrating this hell show, and making fun of Tiny Me's bad writing. There will be an end segment where I explain my perception of the characters and why I wrote them like this to the best of my memory. This video will cover only 6 of the 34 parts of the fanfic. Enjoy the show!
Let's go.
It's the first day of the school year, and Mabel and Dipper go to school. When they get there, Dipper notices someone in a pink sweater following him, and he tackles them. And what do you know? It's Pacifica! She's like, I know you're up to something. Then she drops Journal 3, walks away, and Dipper is like, what, she has a journal? We then switch to Pacifica's perspective, where she explains that 5 weeks ago, Gideon went missing after the Pines twins involved him in a talent act. Thus, she's been investigating them and knows they have magic amulets and stuff. At lunchtime, Mabel is chilling with her besties, then Dipper shows up, pushes Candy out of her seat and says, Pacifica has Journal 3! Mabel then aggressively gets Candy her seat back. Yay, friendship! They discuss what to do about Pacifica, since apparently Candy and Grenda are in on this, or they literally don't care. Mabel then goes over to Pacifica and directly admits they have Gideon, and offers Gideon back in exchange for the book. To quote the scene directly, no way, you have to give Gideon back soon, and it's Gideon's journal. I'd never give it away. Wait, Gideon wrote the journal? What? No, we just found it in the woods. Because they won't give Gideon back, Pacifica resolves to break into their house tonight to try and find him. Hell yeah, breaking and entering!
Hello, your neighbor. Goodbye.
Later that night, Pacifica prepares to commit breaking and entering. She packs her bag with the journal, a flashlight, a knife, a first aid kit, and 2 little baggies of Doritos, only the essentials. She goes and she sneaks in through their window and hides in the living room. Dipper argues with Mabel about keeping Gideon, blah blah blah, until Mabel storms off. Dipper tells Will to go feed Gideon, and Pacifica follows Will into the basement. It's pretty fancy and not the typical jail cell, and then Pacifica and Gideon reunite. Hooray! They then cut the doorknob off the door and break out. Okay, I guess that works. They run down the street with the Pines chasing them, but Pacifica trips and bloodies her knees. She tells Gideon to keep going. She pulls out a knife and says, stay away, you weirdos, I have a knife, you asshats! And then she passes out.
Please stop stabbing me, I don't like it.
Pacifica wakes up at home with Gideon, and he explains what happened. And I'm gonna read this whole chapter for comedic effect, so here's what Gideon says. Oh yeah, after you blacked out, I saw Dipper get a knife and stab you in the forearm. I then came and threw a large rock at him. He used Will to block the rock. Pacifica interrupted, wait, is Will that kid with the blue hair? Gideon then replied, yeah. So anyway, I grabbed the knife you had, got in front of you, and yelled to leave us the hell alone. Dipper then handed that Will guy a dagger and told him to kill me. Will started shaking and said, no. Then Dipper got mad and took the knife from Will and stabbed him a couple of times in the back. Giggles. And that gave me time to get you walking away with me. Soon Dipper noticed, ran, and stabbed you in the back. You collapsed. I then cried. Mabel got mad at Dipper for making me cry. They argued and soon they disappeared. I then went to my house, got bandages and a wagon. I came back, bandied you up, and then put you in the wagon. I brought you home, and then I put you on the sofa here because wagons aren't nice to sleep in. So after that, they watch TV and fall asleep. In Pacifica's dream, she finds Dipper stabbing Will with a flaming dagger. This kid cannot catch a break. So Pacifica stabs him, checks on Will, and then Dipper stabs her. What fun.
Oh,
brother.
This guy stinks!
Meanwhile, Dipper is contemplating his next move. We learn he only agreed to kidnap Gideon because Mabel likes him and it was her birthday when they did it. It was also his birthday because they were twins, but Mabel didn't care. But Dipper put up with it since Gideon also knows, mystery journal stuff. Also, Dipper made the dream Pacifica had last night because he wanted to spook her, but that didn't really work much, so Dipper devises a plan. The plan is, Will shall start coming to school with them to gain Pacifica and Gideon's trust. Then, Dipper will try to intimidate the two via Dipper beating up Will in public to scare Pacifica. He thinks he's a genius.
Please stop stabbing me now. Now.
At school, Dipper and Mabel continue child-on-child abuse, and Pacifica helps Will up and becomes friends with him. Gideon and Pacifica talk to him, and Will lies, saying that he's the twins' younger brother born 1 week after them with the same parents. Sure, bro. They all hang out, and over the course of 2 weeks, Will keeps talking about the evil stuff Dipper does. Instead of making Pacifica scared, this just makes her hate Dipper even more. Also, at no point do they tell any teachers or adults about Will getting stabbed daily. Hi, I made all the drawings for this video and the script for this video over a year ago from when I'm recording it now and editing all together. I just kinda kept it in my back pocket, didn't touch it for a while. Okay, so now we'll move on to the segment where I explain my memories of why I wrote the story like this to the best of my ability, and then after that it will be the end segment where I talk a bit about random shit. Yeah, that's about it. What's with the canon / how does this version of the AU work? When I was little, my knowledge of Reverse Falls as an AU was purely from random fanart, AMVs, and a few comic dubs I saw floating around. I did not know of any type of canon or about the original creator or anything, and all I did was get a gist of how I thought the AU worked, and then I ran off and wrote a fanfic about it. I added and changed things to my liking. Also, I never really had much of an idea of where the story was going, so like every single part was just what I felt like would be cool to happen next. There was no overall story or point. I was just going crazy. Also, let me explain my perception of Will. In my mind, and in the story, Will was a polite demon who was tricked into a written contract with the Pine Twins. He thought they'd use his powers for good, but instead, they took most of his abilities and kept him around to beat up. So basically, he's entirely pathetic and just there to show how evil the twins are, more specifically Dipper is, by getting stabbed and lit on fire a lot. Yeah. In other words, friendship and joy in the world. Welcome to the outro. This is just me existing. As I said before, most of this video and the script and all the drawings were done like about a year ago. And I've just had it in my back pocket since then. So my art has changed a lot and, you know, general stuff like that. I got a job, I graduated from high school, I survived my first portfolio season just barely, oh my god. And now I'm kind of just vibing. Probably I'll make more videos of this series because I really enjoy reading through my old cringy fanfic. Oh my god, there are so many. I became literate and it immediately became an issue for everybody else on this earth. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching. Credits and all that such things are in the description. Have a good time. And, I don't know, play Yakuza. Anything you want to say in the outro?
Do not play Yakuza. Open Steam. Look up Lisa the Painful.